Hey guys, you're watching Editor G and this is our hands-on review of the Realme Watch S. Now the Realme Watch S comes in this nice long box. Let's just get it open. Inside the box you will find the watch, and if we lift that up we can view the watch itself. It's got a nice round dial. It's got sensors on the back, they're already flashing away. Let's keep the watch aside for a while. Now in the box, we also get a little user manual which contains all the necessary setup information. And we get the magnetic charger. Now this is a proprietary charger, uses wireless charging, and the watch attaches to the pad like so. That's it. That's on there magnetically. It's quite a decent pull. Doesn't really fall off either. Okay, now let's put the box aside and have a look at the watch. So this is the Realme Watch S. It gets a 1.3 inch circular display. It's got a 360 by 360 pixel resolution, and it's got these two buttons here. The body is made of aluminium. It's this really nice brushed finish. It's an aluminium alloy body, and it gets these really nice feeling silicone straps as default. You can get other straps as well. Realme sells both silicone and vegan leather options. Your silicone straps will set you back around 499 rupees, while the vegan leather options will cost you 999 rupees. Okay, so let's start off with the basics, which is this dial. Now I'm really glad that Realme went with the choice of using a circular dial rather than a square one, because the square one is very Apple Watch-ish. Everyone knows who you're trying to copy, and that doesn't look the nicest aesthetically. And Realme's also tried to copy the sort of traditional diver's watch theme with these numberings and markings on the sides, which actually gives it a really nice premium look. Now on the display front, it's a fairly large and fairly colorful display. You can cycle through quite a lot of apps here that Realme has built in. Now this does not have Wear OS, so these are the only apps you'll be getting on the watch, but they do cover a pretty wide range of features, which I'll get to in a minute. First, let's just take a look at all the navigational gestures you have. Now if you swipe down from the top, you'll get your notification drawer, and notifications can be brought in from whatever app you configure it with, and Realme actually has a set number of apps you can use based on whatever apps you've got installed in your phone. If you swipe from, let's say, the left, you get these quick access functions. This, for example, is for the battery saver mode. This is to make sure that raise to wake is on, which means if your watch looks away, it'll go off. If it looks at you, it'll turn on. It's a pretty handy feature. And then there's also auto brightness, which you can actually toggle to toggle the brightness settings according to what you prefer. I've just set it on auto because that's the easiest. You also have the settings button right here, and you've got a button for do not disturb. So it won't ring or vibrate whenever you get notifications, in case you're sleeping or you don't want to be disturbed by the watch at that given time. Apart from this, you can swipe from the right and you'll get quick access functions to basically widgets, which will essentially give you just quick data, a quick look at whatever data your phone's been recording, like the number of steps, calories burned, the number of hours you've spent standing or exercising. You've also got the weather here, sleep monitoring, things like your heart rate, because this has a 24/7 heart rate tracker. Every 5 minutes, at intervals of 5 minutes, it'll keep measuring your heart rate data, and then if there's any anomalies found in it, it'll also let you know via a notification. So that was if you swipe right. Now if you swipe from the bottom, again you get the app drawer, and that's pretty much it. That's very simple. Now if you long press this home screen, you'll be able to cycle through a few of the watch faces that come preloaded on the app. Now do remember, you can load a bunch of more watch faces from the partner app, the Realme Link app. In fact, there's over 100 different watch faces you can choose from, which is a lot. It is worth noting, however, none of them are customizable. So it's not like you can have one of the watch faces showing a certain amount of data and then data from another watch face also showing on it. What you see is what you get. You can't really change anything that's already on the loaded watch face. Now let's address the two buttons on the side. Now this button is basically for your app drawer. It's just quick access to your app drawer if you're feeling too lazy to swipe up or whatever. And then this button is basically a quick shortcut to your workouts. So if you press it, you'll get all your 16 different sports modes on offer here. You can access them right from this button. Now, unfortunately, I couldn't find a way to program this for anything else. But then if you are getting a smartwatch, then this is a pretty handy shortcut to have, just quick access to workouts. Okay, now let's come to the back of the device. You'll see these different sensors. Now these are for the heart rate, these three in the middle, and this is mostly for the SpO2 sensor or your blood oxygen monitoring, because this watch does get that, which is an amazing feature in my opinion at this price point. So if we just head over to SpO2 monitoring, you'll see that this is the sensor that lights up, because this is the sensor for the blood oxygen monitoring. Apart from this, this is the heart rate sensor, and the moment you tell it to go and start measuring, there's your heart rate monitor flashing. Now the heart rate monitor itself was pretty accurate in my testing. I tested it against an Apple Watch because that is somewhat the benchmark in the industry, and honestly the results were really accurate, I should say. They were merely off by a factor of 3 to 5 beats per minute. Apart from that, almost every time, bang on, they were both the same. So when it comes to heart rate tracking, at least, I know that this is very accurate. On the blood oxygen monitoring level, again, Realme itself and other companies who do offer this feature say that it's not medical grade. It should not be used for diagnostic purposes, and only to be able to keep a track of your fitness levels or to get a fair understanding of where you may be standing with the blood oxygen level in your body. But for actual medical results, you should definitely consult medical grade equipment and not just a smartwatch. But the fact remains is that Realme has included SpO2 monitoring on this watch at this price point, which is absolutely amazing in my opinion. Okay, now let's get to the apps. Okay, so your first app is, of course, the alarm app, where you can just set a different alarm for whatever you want it, and it'll vibrate and let you know whenever the alarm rings. It's important to note that there's no speaker, so it's not like this will be able to alert you via audio. It will only be a vibration on your wrist, so you need to be wearing the watch in order to be informed of the alarm. Apart from this, you have a settings app where you can actually set functions like wake screen on wrist raise, continuous heart rate monitoring, your do not disturb and your screen off functions, basically letting you know how long it'll be before your watch shuts off its screen automatically. So let me just set it to 15 there, and yeah, that's better. Then under general settings, you have your display and brightness, which is basically the same as that quick setting I'd shown you earlier. You also can change the vibration intensity. Now I will say this is not the most sophisticated haptic motor I've used. So honestly, even on medium or low setting, it's quite punchy, it's quite buzzy. So you could get away with keeping it just on medium, that should be fine. You don't really need the high mode. Power saving mode is also actually quite handy, because even though this watch goes all the way to promised 15 days, which in my usage is absolutely accurate. I used this for more than a week non-stop with the heart rate and sleep tracking, and it barely lost 20-25% of its battery life. So doing 15 days with this, I can totally understand. But if you do run out of battery, you still have a power saving mode, which you can enable and save your battery even further. Apart from this, you have system settings, which allows you to restart, power off, reset the device, and gives you regulatory information. And then you just have basic about information, which gives you the hardware version, the MAC address, software version, etc. Okay, now before I get to this icon, which is for the exercise record, let's quickly take a look at the workout app, which has 16 different workout modes. Yes, 16 different workout modes, including things like rowing machine, elliptical, badminton, basketball, and everyone's favorite, it even does cricket. Right here, you can even track your cricket workout, which is really handy. But let's say I just go for a quick walk, you'll notice something. It says GPS connecting and then GPS connected. That's because this takes GPS data from the connected smartphone. In case you don't have a connected smartphone, there will be no GPS data because by itself, this does not have native GPS inbuilt. The Realme Watch S Pro, on the other hand, does have that. So if GPS is a feature you really want, then maybe the Watch S Pro is the one for you. Otherwise, without GPS, this can still take GPS from your phone, I should say, the Realme Watch S. So if you do carry your phone along on runs or on workouts or while cycling outside, this should still be able to track your GPS data. Now let's say I just do start, it'll give you a quick countdown and then a go and a vibration, and there it started. Now it's tracking my heart rate. It'll also be tracking different parameters like steps and distance and the duration. So it's pretty handy that way. And it also calculates your average cadence and your calories burnt. If I want to stop it, I can just quickly press this button and then it says workout paused and I can end the current exercise. Now it says it's too short to be recorded, but if I do work out long enough, then I'll get a record of it right here in this corner. Now let's move on to the weather app. This will give you weather data. Again, this is taken from your phone, from your partner phone. This will not get data on its own. Then there's the heart rate monitor, which tells you your beats per minute. And there's also the meditation app. This is somewhat like what we've seen before on other smartwatches, I should say, which is basically a way to help you relax. If you press start and 1 minute, basically this will help calm you down, and it'll vibrate to let you know when you should inhale and exhale to get your heart rate in a more calm graph. Now let's take a look at the music app. Now again, this doesn't really have any onboard storage, so all this will do is give you music controls for whenever you play music via your connected smartphone. Then there's SpO2 monitoring, of course, which, let me just for now fool it into thinking I'm wearing the watch when I'm really not. Let it measure it off of my finger. It'll say measuring and then it'll give you the blood oxygen level. There you go. That's not the most accurate right now because I'm not even wearing the watch as it's supposed to be worn, so I would understand if it doesn't give me the most accurate result. But anyway, it has given me a result and it's actually a very nifty feature to have. Okay, now let's get to the next app. You see that little crescent moon with the Z, that is for sleep tracking. And essentially if you wear this while you're asleep, I should say, then it'll monitor your sleep time and the quality of your sleep. It'll tell you whether you've had a deep sleep, light sleep, REM sleep, whatever it is. It'll let you know all that data and also push it to your smartphone app. Then you've got a stopwatch right here, which is really handy to have on a watch. And then you also have a timer app. You can set timers for different times. Then you get this, which helps you find your phone. There you go. That's my phone ringing in the background because it's helping me find my phone. Okay, and finally we have this camera button. This is basically to let it act as a remote shutter for your smartphone so you can take pictures via your watch without having to touch your smartphone. Okay, now apart from this, it is worth noting that these straps are interchangeable. So you can get different varieties of straps like these green ones. You can buy them from Realme for 499 rupees. Then you also have different colors for it. You can get these orange ones, really nice. And then there's also this. These are the navy blue ones. These are, I think, my favorite, apart from the all black look. These look really nice. You can also get vegan leather options, I should say, from the Realme website, which Realme has said are coming soon, and they'll cost 1,000 rupees. Alright, now that we're done with everything the watch itself has to offer, let's take a look at the smartphone app. Now in the app, you'll see there's a whole lot of different information the watch is actually sending to the smartphone. Things like sleep tracking, heart rate, SpO2 data, exercise logs, and even your steps counted every day. You can actually set your goal. So right now, for instance, this says my goal is 8,000 steps. You can set your goal, your daily goal for how many steps you want to walk in a day, and it'll let you know whether you're meeting that goal or not. You can also take a look at the settings, and here is my favorite part, the watch faces. Over 100 different watch faces to choose from. Now, like I said before, these are not customizable watch faces, which is to say you can choose from whatever you want, but then that's all you'll see. You can't mix and match. You can't say, okay, in this watch face I'd like this part but not that part, I'd like the weather in one and the activity in another. You can't do that. What you see is what you get. That is all you can choose from. But as far as options go, there's a lot of them, over 100 different watch faces. You can also do this. You can change your background and use your own custom wallpaper if you want, and you can change basically where the time shows. That's basically it. That's all you get for actual customization on the watch face front. Apart from that, you can also get call reminders, which will basically let you reject calls on the Watch S, because the Watch S can't really take calls. It doesn't have a microphone or a speaker for you to be able to hold conversations. So all you can do is reject calls, but it does give you that option. You can also see the rest of the notifications from whatever apps that are compatible with the Realme Link app, like Gmail, YouTube, Google Maps, SMS, WhatsApp, etc. Those are all compatible with this app, so you can get notifications from all of them on your watch. It also has things like a get up reminder, which will remind you to walk around every hour, I think. And then actually you can set the frequency, which is really actually very handy. And then you also get a water drinking reminder, which is also kind of handy. Apart from this, like I had said before, there is a 5-minute interval by default for the heart rate tracking, the continuous heart rate tracking, which you can change if you want. It can track it in a longer amount of time. It doesn't need to do it every 5 minutes, but whatever you like, you can set it at that. And then you also get the alerts for if it detects your heart rate is too low or if your heart rate is too high. Then you also have music playback controls, if you want to control your music while it's playing via a smartphone. And also the camera controller, you can turn it on or turn it off. Then you also have Find My Phone, which I showed you before. And you have things like weather, goal, which is the step goal that you can change and set to whatever you want. Then you also get the user guide. You can also update the device from here, get the MEC address and legal information, and you can also delete the device from your smartphone, from your Realme Link app if you want to pair a different one, or if you want to remove the data on this one. Another good feature about the Realme Watch S is that it's IP68 water resistant, which means you should be able to take this into a light shower if you really need to. It's not advisable, but you can if you need to. And if accidental splashes happen around it or on it, this should be able to weather them just fine, no problems. But IP68 is especially good for working out, especially if you're someone who sweats a lot. Then IP68 makes sure that your device does not get damaged at all. If you enjoyed this video, do consider subscribing to our YouTube channel, giving us a like, sharing our content, and for all the latest tech news, keep watching Editor G.